welcome back to another process video. Today I'm sharing a layout for Peartree Cutfiles. I'm using this brand new title cut file that was released in the shop this month, so that's June 2022. And it's called Fit for a Queen. And I think that it was actually intended for the Queen's Jubilee, which happened this month in England. But since I'm in the United States and we don't celebrate that, I found a different purpose for it. I had this photo from Disney World, and I'm sitting in a chair at a resort. We stayed at Port Orleans Riverside Hotel, and there was this really cool chair that had a queen's crown on the background of it, and I felt like I kind of just looked like a Disney queen. So from my background, I'm actually following a sketch, and I will share the sketch in my process video at the end. And this sketch had two big, I guess, arrow kind of stripes in the background, and so that's what I'm creating here. It kind of kills me to waste pattern paper like this. I guess it's not waste, but cut into the pattern paper like this. But I found it was the only way to get that cut exactly where I needed it without having a seam. And so I used my ruler and pencil to mark the center of the page, and then I cut off the bottom two corners, and then I used my ruler to measure out the width of the chevron or the arrow. And now I'm just deciding the color of the other arrow that's going to go on top of this leopard print one. And I decided to go with this black and white polka dot-ish paper. And I was trying to find a way to conserve paper to cut this other arrow, and I just couldn't make it work besides just laying down the original arrow, tracing it, and then cutting a smaller one to go inside. And it doesn't fit in my trimmer, so I end up using my scissors to cut that out. But I do not like cutting things with scissors. I have to use a paper trimmer to get straight edges on things. So I go back and I cut a nice straight edge, and then I gut out the center of that so I can just get that arrow piece that's going to fit inside the other. And so it's going to look like that. I don't have a ton of full sheets of pattern paper left in this collection. This is the Simple Stories Kate and Ash collection from a couple years ago. So I dug through my stash and found this yellow grid background. And so for many, many years I subscribed to Studio Calico kits, and I used a lot of them over the years. But when I stopped subscribing, when they stopped offering scrapbook kits, I broke them all down, and I took all the pattern paper and put them into those 12 by 12 iris containers and sorted them by color. And then I kept one container for all grid papers, wood grain papers, and neutral backgrounds, because I find that I really like a grid background. I think it's a really subtle look, and I do make layouts with backgrounds that have white cardstock, but I also like a nice subtle pattern paper background. So that's where I pulled this paper out of. And then I pulled my sewing machine out and did some stitching along both of those chevrons. I love stitching on my layouts. And now I am matting it on a white piece of cardstock, and this is an old kind of throwaway from, I cut a cut file out. I saw a snowflake there, so this has been sitting on my desk for quite a few months. I haven't scrapped snow layouts probably since January, February. And I just use it as the background. You can't even tell that the center has been cut out. You just have to make sure you cut off any pieces that might have been left behind that could kind of be in the middle of the page and might catch when you're sticking it in an album. And I just made sure I put lots of adhesive. You'll see me later on add some more on the corners to make it stick down. I added a mat behind my photo. I'm looking to see if there's something else I want to add behind my photo. Lately I've been into matting my photos with a white cardstock border, and then using 1, 2, or maybe even 3 different pattern papers offset slightly, so you just get a little bit of a border of that pattern. And I ended up going with a 4x6 card, but just using the pink portion of it. I should also say that this cut file, I originally, if you watched, I think it was my last process video, I had started to use this cut file on a different layout, and it ended up being too busy. And one of the ways I tried to make it less busy for my other layout that it didn't make the cut was putting it on vellum. And I think it still works here, even though I ended up going a completely different route, but I think it makes the cut file really stand out by having it on vellum. It doesn't get lost in the busy patterns of the background. So one of the other things I love doing is layering a title with lots of different words. So I found these foam stickers that were in the Kate and Ash collection. And so it's Fit for a Queen, So Sassy. It goes kind of sassy to say that you're a queen. One of the things I like to do is cut out my embellishments from the backing when they are on a clear backing like that. And then I stick them to the side, and I can move them around without having to commit to getting them stuck down. So you'll see that I skipped a little bit of footage there, and all of my embellishments that I picked out are just sitting on the side of my glass mat. I think I mentioned this before, and lots of scrappers have said this. I find the best thing and the best way to eliminate searching through things over and over is just pull out anything that might work for the layout, and then I try to go from there and use those things to embellish. One thing I like to do is that visual triangle, 3 different clusters, which I'm working on creating now. And one technique that I like to do is repeat the same element in each cluster. So here I'm starting by repeating the camera. And I apologize, I'm a little out of frame there. But in a couple moments I get back in frame. And so I placed 3 different cameras in each of those 3 spots for visual triangle. I do add a few brads in. This is the first one. That camera at the bottom actually has a brad that's in the center. And so of course each cluster's got to have some brads. Each cluster gets... Does each cluster get a chipboard piece? Not all of them get a chipboard piece. Each cluster does get a foam sticker. There's the foam sticker for the bottom, and that perfume bottle next to the camera on the bottom was a little bit raised and it wasn't letting my foam lip sticker sit flat, so I added some fun foam to the back so that it laid nice and flat. Adding in those brads. There you go. I add some more adhesive there to get it really stuck down. And I love that Simple Stories now has the brads with just adhesive backs. This collection must have been pre-adhesive backed. And then I'm finishing off with some phrase stickers, which is one of my all-time favorite things to add. I love words and phrases, and long skinny rectangles I think fit in lots of spots. So I add those in my 3 clusters. And then in the finished layout, which is going to come up here in a little bit, I added a tab on the top left of my photo, and then I printed out the wording Queen Cerulo, which is my last name, which I thought was kind of fitting because this was my honeymoon, so that last name was brand new to me, and I did feel like a queen staying here. So in a moment or two you will see some close-ups coming up, and I hope you enjoyed this process video and that you will like and subscribe to my channel for lots more content coming soon. Finishing touch, enamel dots, and then I'm going to call it complete. Thank you for stopping by today. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.